Hey, welcome. So think about this for a second. Every single thing we talk about, every big idea, every story, every argument, it's all built out of tiny, simple words. Today, we're going all the way back to basics. We're talking about the very first words we ever learn, the ones that help us build our world, starting with the people in it. So how do we even start? It's a huge question, right? But the answer, well, it doesn't begin in some fancy library or a classroom. Nope, it starts at home. It starts with the very first faces we see and the sounds we make to give them a name. And this shows us something really fundamental about how we communicate. You can't talk about big, abstract stuff until you can name the things right in front of you. And, what's more real, more concrete than the people who make up our entire world at the beginning? And what's amazing is, this is true pretty much everywhere, in any culture. The words for our family members, they're like our starter pack for language. They are the very first building blocks we're handed to construct not just words, but our first ever understanding of how people fit together. Okay, so let's dive into this. Let's look at these core words. These aren't just random sounds. These are the terms that give us the power to actually map out our closest relationships. They're the raw materials. Now, obviously, we all know these words, but their real power is in what they do. They aren't just dictionary definitions. They're like job titles in our very first little company. Each word represents a unique role, a specific connection. It's like getting a blueprint for how your tiny society works. But single words are just labels. They're like pointing at things. The real magic, the part where communication truly sparks to life, is when we start putting them together, when we go from just naming someone to actually saying something about them. So if a word like mother is one single Lego block, then a sentence is the first little house we build with it. This is a huge leap, right? It's the difference between just pointing at the block and actually building something with it. Let's just grab one of those blocks. Let's take mother. The definition itself is super simple, right? A female parent. But all its power is just sitting there, locked up, until we put it into action, like this. See? The moment we put that word in a sentence, it's not a definition anymore. It's a statement. It's a relationship. And that tiny word, my, that's the key. That's the glue that connects you, the speaker, to this other person. It gives the word a purpose. And the best part is, this is a pattern. It's repeatable. So let's grab another block, another one of these core relationships, brother, and boom, there it is again. The same simple, reusable frame. With a template like, he is my, or she is my, that list of vocabulary suddenly becomes this incredibly powerful tool for introducing your entire world to someone else. All right, so we've gone from words to sentences. We're building. But communication isn't just us shouting sentences out into the void, right? The next level, the real goal, is dialogue, using these sentences in an actual back-and-forth conversation. Just watch how this works. It's like a little dance. Speaker A kicks it off with a simple question. Who is this? That's an invitation. And Speaker B accepts it, using those building blocks we just practiced. But here's the crucial part. Speaker A's response. It's nice to meet them. That's not just being polite. It's the signal that says, I understood you. Message received. The communication loop is officially closed. Success. And that, right there, is the whole journey. We started with these single, isolated words. We built them into sentences that actually meant something. And then we used those sentences to create a real human connection. I mean, in a nutshell, that's what language is for. So you might be thinking, okay, great, family words, I get it. But this is so much bigger than that. This simple little process is the blueprint for all communication. It's about taking pieces of information, putting them together in a structure, and using that structure to create a shared understanding with another person. So the real takeaway here is that this is a skill you can actually practice. It's a formula, really. A simple 3-step process that works for learning pretty much anything. You pick a concept, you build a sentence around it to give it some context, and then you try it out in a real conversation. That's how you get good at this. That's the path. So, I want to leave you with this question. We've just looked at the most basic, fundamental building blocks of language. But the principles? They're universal. Every complex argument you'll ever have, every deep friendship you'll build, every big idea, it's all built using these same simple steps. The only question is, what are you going to build next? Thanks for joining us.